Karen here, Soul Symbols Astrology and Tarot, and I'm here to give you a reading on the full moon in Capricorn, which is happening today, the 10th of July. If you're interested in the other part of the cycle, if you go to my website, there is a blog there on the new moon in Cancer. So it goes through the cycle, it goes through the meanings of the full cycle, also includes tarot significations of this cycle. There's also a blog on the phases of the moon, so that will help you understand what each phase is about, and it's connected with nature, and it's got prompts and affirmations. So go and check that out. That's www.soulsymbols.co.uk. Also, if you want a reading, I do lunation cycle readings, either the astrology of it or the tarot or a combination of the both. And there's also shadow work readings, tarot and oracle, and birth chart readings. So go check it all out. So we've got the illumination of what we've been building, basically, and the moon is reflecting the gateway of the gods, reflecting the gods. That's Capricorn. In the waters of the material, the soul, which is Cancer, which was the gateway of the soul. But it's going to illumine the structures we've been building, because we've been building a lot of structures. And this moon, although it started with the new moon that we had in Cancer, it has more of a history. And I think this full moon is the fruit, the bloom of what started on the longer cycle. So on the 11th of January 2024, there was a new moon in Capricorn. That's some time ago. Now, what you seeded here, what your hopes, your dreams, what your inspiration was, what you imagined to manifest and build, started then. So have a look back to January, because this is when this story began. This is the fruition of that story. The full bloom is going to be illumined of what's been happening there. Anywhere in your life, whatever you've been building, relationship, been building a business, been building your career, building a home and a family, building your income, your resources, anything, building spiritually, intellectually, anything to do with the physical, what structures we're putting down in the physical. And then on the 10th of October 2024, we then had the first quarter in this long series, and that first quarter would have brought tension. It's a square is of the nature of Mars, so may have been a cutting off of the things that weren't working, or a kind of a conflict, a struggle to push forward. Imagine it like the saplings up, but it's pushing through the earth, pushing through, stones in the way. So it's that tension of pushing, overcoming obstacles. So that was the 10th of October 2024. And of course, today, here's the full moon. So that plant would have grown, that project would have grown, that that relationship would be formed. You can now see the illumination of the whole thing that you've built, whatever area that is. Also, particularly this full moon is a very kind of spiritual moon, because Capricorn was the gateway of the gods, where the full moon's in, and Cancer is the gateway into the material. That's the ancient astrology. So there's a real sense of the gods reflecting on the waters, the waters of Cancer, and we have the Sun and Jupiter there. Jupiter's not come out of under the rays of the Sun yet, so we're not seeing that fully. But it is a fruition. Ooh, got things on my desk that I'm knocking. It's a fruition, and it's a bloom. That's what it is. So I pulled my alchemical cards. It's beautiful because it's the sap of the moonflower. I mean, it couldn't be more appropriate, could it? Sap of the moonflower and conjunction. conjunctio. So the sap of the moonflower is the about the unconscious. It's about the waters of our soul, particularly about dreams. In alchemy, the sap of the moon, it's not the moon plant, it's because there's a flower there. The sap of the moon plant is actually closely related to the subconscious, the unconscious, the dream life. Funny enough, I was having a conversation last night with someone about dreams, and we were talking about the nature of dreams. And those dreams, we need to hold when they come, we need to hold, we need to turn them like a beautiful gem to see what they would give us because it's coming up from our depths. It can be spiritual messages, it can be our unconscious, which is being illumined. So, the gateway of the gods is reflecting what's been built in the material, and that can be building in our soul. But spirit clearly wants to talk about, the soul path, the way forward that way. And the conjunction is when it's two things come together. So this is the ultimate outcome of the work. It is the divine union. It's the marriage, of the masculine, the feminine, the yin, the yang. It's the two opposing opposites that come together. And of course, the sun and the moon are opposite each other. But this is about a conjoining. So when the sun and the moon conjoins, we can see all the stars. We can see, if there's an eclipse, we can see the cosmos brightly because there's no sunshine in there. And when black and white come together, that yin yang, we get to see all the colors. So these colors, all the colors become clear, the whole spectrum of white light, like a prism. So these are incredible cards. Yeah, I thought, wow, when the sap of the moon plant came out. So there's that sense that there needs to be this looking at what we are building, what structures, what is our personal myth in terms of what is the narrative of our life? What are we building there? So I'm going to start with this deck. It's a beautiful deck I was gifted, and it is from the Ipswich art festival. So yeah, I'm going to use it. The pictures are a bit risque, but here, hey ho. So what we're going to look at, we're going to look at what the physical and the mystical is, okay? Because we're talking about this coming together. It's a beautiful moment. And we've also got to figure that Uranus and has gone into the Gemini, which is the split. It's the twins. So I think there's a sense of looking at there might be unknown structures we're building in our life, via our shadow, via the unconscious. So let's have a look, but apply it to whatever area of life you've been building since that January 2024. Okay, right. I'm going to look at physical, and I'm going to look at that, the mystical. Take that one. Right. Oh my goodness. Okay, for the physical, really interesting. We have the High Princess, High Priest, High Princess, High Priestess. So that High Priestess, it denotes the moon and Pisces. Um, so she is the inner, she's kind of an expression of the magician, but she's in the Rider Waite, she holds the scroll with Torah written on it. So it's the hidden mysteries. So this is in the physical. So this is that conjunction. We're in the physical, but we're bringing the physical and the mystical together because she's come up as the physical card. What's solid, what's material, us, our bodies, our minds, our houses we live in, the work that we do, the relationships we have, the connections that we forge. So the High Priestess is here this full moon to bring up the unconscious into the physical, that reflection of the gods in the waters of what we have built. So really pay attention to your dreams, because we have that moon sap, the sap of the moon plant. So pay attention to your dreams. I suggest you take a dream journal, put it by your bed, and anything that comes up, because waters are to do with memory. And waters hold memory. There's a lot of work being done about how water holds memory, and we are made up of water. So if you get really what seem weird memories, contemplate them, hold them, don't throw them away, listen to them, okay? And if you're not getting any of that and you want to have a look at that, then put music on. Put music, because music is a vibration. Any music you like, it's a vibration that I think stirs your subconscious, your unconscious, stirs your soul. It has an emotional, mental, and spiritual effect on us. So, High Priestess, we have in the place of the physical, and then in the mystical, we have the Queen of Wands. So we're talking fire and we're talking inspiration. The Queen of Wands is the Queen of inspiration. So again, be aware at this time of anything, any little light bulb moments, anything that comes up under this full moon. And as I say, this cycle is not going to come to the last quarter until April 2026. So this is a long process. But if that's too long for you to look at right back to January 2024 and up to the other one, then look at the shorter cycle this month. What were you doing at the new moon? Okay, because it's a new moon in Cancer. What inspiration have you had? What ideas are kind of taken form, have flowered, are there? What are the things that you need to kind of use use the magician's sword to cut off? What isn't working? What is no longer valuable to you? In Cancer as well, Cancer is about nurture, it's about love, it's about mothering the family. So there could be issues going on in your family that need cutting off, and I would say stand in your truth, be your authentic self, and speak truth with love within the family if there are issues at home, with your home and family. But I'm thinking more, because this is in the mystic place, this is about your soul. And through Cancer in ancient astrology, the soul descended into material. So look at the structures that you're building: your mind, your emotion, your physical. Capricorn is about structure, it's about your skeleton. Have you got issues there? Have you got things that you need to change there, to strengthen? Do you need to strengthen your muscles so that the structure of your body is stronger? Yeah, so many things that we can be talking about this full moon, with that combination of moon in Capricorn, sun in Cancer. So there we have the Queen of Wands. You're going to get inspiration, and whether it's inspiration on how to take the work forward, because full moon, we got the flowering, we can see it's illumined what we've built from the beginning of the long cycle or the beginning of this cycle. So it's being illumined. So it's that sense of, we haven't arrived yet until the last quarter, um, which will be a week from now in the month cycle. That is the harvesting. That is when we get our low hanging fruit. That is when we get the outcome of what we've built. We're just having it illumined now. We might need to tweak. We might need to lose things. If you're gardening, if there's loads of weeds around your rhododendrons, then you need to pull them up. Otherwise, they're going to choke the plant, and they're going to take all the nutrients out of the soil. So what do you need to cut? Or is it physical? Absolutely physical. You built a beautiful garden and you need to go and tend to that and allow the fruit. If you've got fruit and veg growing, you need to nurture that and tend that. So apply it where it resonates, okay? But this is mystical. This is the card that's come out in the place of the mystical, and we have these merging. Okay, we have the conjunction, that conjunction card. So it's the two merging. the unconscious in the physical, which is the high princess, at priestess. Yeah, I don't know why I'm saying that. There might be something in that. Princess. Maybe you need to see yourself as kind of sovereign, royal, yeah. And then the Queen of Wands is coming up as the mystical, and that's the inspiration, okay? And these two are merging because they're both very mystical, okay? World of imagination, world of creation, that is, okay? So we'll have a look at any shadow to that. I'm going to use my dark tarot cards to have a look at the shadow of this high princess in the physical. So I think that is the emergence of shadow content, things that we may not know enough, spiritual, from our guides, from just that inspiration of that Queen of Wands. But is there shadow? Well, there's always shadow. There's always light. The conjunction, there's always light and there's always dark, and we are actually looking at this full moon, kind of the unification of those, and that's the lemmastat, the infinity sign, the Ouroboros, the snake that swallows its tail. It's the infinity. It's that kind of cyclical nature of life and our spirit. Okay, so let's have a look at shadow. Four of Wands. Yeah, we got the Four of Wands. And we got the Six of Swords. So I haven't got my reading glasses on. I've broken the art. So excuse me squinting. So our shadow for our high priestess in the physical is the Four of Wands. Okay. So that Four of Wands is actually a beautiful card, in the Rider Waite, where the wands are up, and it makes the 11-11 pattern. Okay, so maybe with your high priestess that's in the physical, maybe the message to you is you really need to look at synchronicity. With that 11-11, you really need to look at what is stable for you. What is bringing you stability? Where are the instabilities? Don't repress excuse me, don't repress any shadow material. If there's things you don't like about how you've done things, how you are, don't repress it. Just embrace it, sit with it, allow the high priestess energy to kind of show you how to get up that staircase towards the light. Okay. So do not repress anything. There's stability, and the Four of Wands is union. Okay. So in the physical, allow the things to come up that you perhaps are repressing, and it could be that you're repressing amazing parts of you. You may be reducing yourself, saying, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I want to be able to do this, that. You may be comparing yourself, but whatever is coming there, really look at it. Our Six of Swords. So this is mind energy. Okay, Six of Swords. It is a card of movement, but it is also a shadow. So there could be the sense of you're unable to move forward, that external circumstances are kind of pushing you back. It could be that something's come up for you and you're distracting yourself from it. Swords are mind, so this will be thoughts. It could be the thoughts that just continuously swamp your mind, particularly if you're under pressure or stress. You will get an awful lot of mind energy, which takes your energy, it depletes you. But the Queen of Wands is there in our mystical, okay, and it is inspiration, it is vision. So there, even this shadow, if you face that shadow, the lack of movement or the fear of movement. It may be that you need to make a change either to your patterns, your structures in your mind. Maybe, some therapies in order. Maybe you need to take up a practice that is really going to help your mind to still, so that you can have that true ins- ins- inspirational movement. Okay. So yeah, that's the shadow there. But both the Four of Wands and the Six of Swords, they are both denoting movement. They both, in one way or another, look like a staircase. We have our light there. We have our light there. Um, the Six of Swords has got a bit of mist there too. The Four of Wands has got the darkness in the staircase. But with whatever those um, whatever those shadows are, if you face them and face them fully, you will absolutely be able to find the light at the end of the tunnel. You will absolutely be able to move on, and to be able to take all the gifts from that high priestess, all the inner stuff that is emerging, and be able to move with inspiration and vision towards the things that you want to achieve. So don't limit yourself. Okay, so I'm going to have a look at what where the resistance is, okay, the challenge, the obstacle, and if you, as I say, if you go back to October 2024, when there was that long-term cycle first quarter, that'll be a tension to growth. It will be a resistance, an obstacle, a barrier. So let's have a look what that is. Let's see what spirit, and you know pay attention to the fact this is a collective read. We can see this out, we can probably read this in the collective. If you want to look at it as our society, where we live in, the structures, the institutions, what's been built there, how we're, often repressed or unable to fully express ourselves within those structures, be it institutions like governments, banks, da di da di da, or your family or your community. But it is a collective, so if nothing resonates, leave it. Use your own judgment, but you can also apply anything that resonates to yourself. Okay, just a little thing that popped up in my mind. Okay, so we're looking at resistance, and I've linked it with the first quarter, which would have been, in this short cycle, would have been more or less 7 days after the new moon in Cancer. It would have been 7 days after. This is the long cycle, October 2024. Have a look at what might have, where there might have been a block to your dreams, your plans, what you were building, the structures you were trying to put in place. Okay, so we have the Eight of Wands, fire and whistle. Okay, so our Eight of Wands, again, it's fire. We have two lots of, no, three wands. The Queen of Wands, we have the Four of Wands, and now we have the Eight of Wands. This is doubling up the structure, the Eight of Wands. It is really that sense of standing your ground. It's that sense of believing the inspiration, that you've been given, the vision that you've been given. This is actually standing your ground, sticking your heels in the sticking your heels in the ground, and really going for it. Okay, don't be overcome. You've got, the Four of Wands, which is that stable. It's actually, I can never pronounce it, a chuppa, where in the Jewish faith they marry under it. It's that, it's union. Okay, so we've got this union here with the Eight of Wands, but we've got that kind of double expression of it. Okay, so make sure you blow your whistle about your fire, your passion, your dream, your vision, your don't give up on it, whatever's being illumined at the moment, even if there are things that, because always with a full moon, you get illumination that is showing some cracks in the structure or some faulty bits of the building. Okay, but blow your whistle. Don't give up on that. Keep blowing your whistle. Keep keep the fire alive, tend the fire, tend the passion. Don't let any obstacles or things that appear to be difficult to dampen that passion and that fire you have for it. So that's your sense of resistance. There could be something that's illumined, I'm feeling, in the structure, and that could be your physical structure, could be your health, issues with your bones. You might have a bad back or something, or hip, or anything in your structural body. It could be a torn ligament that's stopping you from doing the things you want to do. But don't allow that to dampen your fire. Don't let your fire disappear with that. Okay. So the outcome, I'm going to have a look at the outcome. Let's have a look at, I'm actually going to pull the shaman's dream for the outcome. Okay. So this is our marrying of the physical and the mystery, the mystical. It is our conjunction. It is bringing our unconscious to be conscious, whether it's coming through dreams. It's allowing us to see where spirit is illumining, where structures may have cracks, but also illumine the beauty, the flower. Just that beautiful sense of what you have built. So focus on what you have built. This one needs to come out. Oh, wow. So we've got skywriting for our outcome. Okay. The fates. It's fated. It's written in the stars. We have that moon there again. Very illumined moon, a full moon. Okay. With skywriting, there's a lot of symbols there. So again, I would say look for synchronicities, look for symbols around this full moon. Trust them, trust your intuition. But with skywriting, it is what is fated. So if you are building something and you're aligned with spirit, you're aligned with your soul, you're aligned with how you are mentally, emotionally, if you're authentically going for something, skywriting is saying it's fated. So there's a sense of spirit behind it, spirit empowering it, vitalizing it, leading you, guiding you. You just have to align with that. The cosmos aligning with you. We've got massive changes in the in the cosmos at the moment. There's going to be breakthroughs, breaking free of things that held you back. Don't think because something didn't work before, it's not going to work this time. This is new. We're in a new place now, collectively and individually. You may have had a lot of chaos around you this week because of Uranus entering Gemini. You may have splits and conflicts in relationships. You may be battling to have the truth be told. There could be all sorts going on, but it also could be just a lovely split. So you can see, I think I spoke last week, I've lost track, but it's coming back. Sometimes we have that split because we can see very, very clearly what A is, what B is, what the physical is, what the spiritual is, what the outside circumstances are, and what is going on internally. It is a push to be individuated, but not in a selfish way, become individual, but to be the full expression of yourself. This is going to be so important in the coming years so that you can express it in service to other, in service to spirit, in service to building a better world. Okay. And we have all got a part in that, not just the people who are spiritual or the people who've got the mental capacity or the physical capacity. You could be physically incapacitated, but you are still a powerhouse. Okay. You've just got different expression of power. And we need to really tap into that. And the fates are what is fated. We have been, we have soul contracts. Before we were born, before we came here, we're here for a purpose. It's not some random, chaotic reason that we're here. We may be, I keep getting soul contracts back recently, but I think a lot of us may move into that knowing of that kind of purpose for why we're here, and be able to kind of align ourselves to that, and also resolve some of the awful things that have happened, because life is not always a box of chocolates, is it? It's not a bowl of cherries. Sometimes the chocolates go mouldy or you don't get the ones you want, and things are difficult. But even those difficulties can be alchemized, okay? It's that light and shadow, that black and white, but within that black and white is a whole spectrum of color. So you need to open up to, you know, all the difficulties, all the joys. You can have immense joy while your heart is hurting immensely. Absolutely, you can, because you can know that you're in the flow of life, you're in the flow of the life force. If you are standing with authenticity, you're expressing authentically. If you are moving it with truth and integrity, if you are moving in love and service, um, you know, you can hold those two things, that really difficult stuff and the really bright stuff, because it is in both the dark and the lightness, within our shadow and within our, brilliant shiny light, the sun and the moon, that we can express the full spectrum of colours. So that's what I have for you, and I hope that was helpful. If you want, I do soul path and shadow readings. So if you want one of them, go and check out my website, www.soulsymbols.co.uk, or if you just want a tarot or a oracle reading or a chart reading, go visit. Easy booking system. Yeah, and please drop a comment below. Just drop a comment below. If you're new here, subscribe and like, okay? All right, lots of love to you all. See you at the next one.